Later. Tonight's invocation will be given by Ron Bishop, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Callie Gilbert, a 7th grade student at Salrita Middle School, and she threw me off because she wore a Mustang shirt, so I said, that has to be a high schooler, but no, she's not. She's a Jaguar Middle School. So, Ron?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Town Council members. As is our custom, let's begin tonight's meeting with a prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together this evening to serve our community. So much of what you teach us focuses on service. The Torah instructs us not to harden our heart or shut our hand towards our poor brothers. The Quran gives us examples of feeding the hungry and assisting those in distress. The Gita tells us to engage in selfless service to others. The Dharma encourages helping all sentient beings while working towards one's own enlightenment. Modern science recognizes the value that selfless acts provide to our own mental and physical health. Father, even modern science sees the wisdoms in your teachings. My favorite tale of service comes from the parable of the Good Samaritan. The story arrives from St. Luke's letter to someone known simply as Theophilus. It's about a man who is robbed and beaten on a road. But unlike a priest and a Levite who pass him by, a Samaritan stops to help. The Samaritan tends to the man's wounds, takes him to an inn, and pays the innkeeper to look after his charge, illustrating that compassion knows no bounds and one should always love our neighbor as ourselves. Our neighbor is anyone we see, anyone we connect with, anyone who is part of our life, no matter how small a part that may be. A selfless act of service portrayed in a simple story. Father, tonight let us remember the parable of the Good Samaritan as we deliberate the future of our community. We thank you for all the blessings you've bestowed upon us. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. In all your names we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ron. Callie?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Tell all your classmates it's painless, and if we ever need any others, just recommend it, okay? Thanks. Mr. Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Gillespie.
Here.
Councilmember Lisk.
Here.
Councilmember Lido.
Here.
Councilmember Morales. Here. Councilmember Priolo.
Here.
Vice Mayor Egbert.
Here.
Mayor Murphy.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next, I have two proclamations. One, I'll do an abbreviated one, and the other one, I'll have Anna. Is Anna here? Oh, Anna and Nathan, and is Orlanthea here? Anybody connected to community development? Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places, and whereas planners can help navigate the change with data-driven insights and expertise that provide better choices for how people work and live, and whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all of its residents meaningful involvement in making choices that determine the future of our community. And whereas the full benefits of planning require elected and appointed officials who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. Whereas the American Planning Association has endorsed National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight how planning is essential to every community and how planners are uniquely positioned to identify solutions for communities' most difficult housing, transportation, and land use questions. And whereas the recognition of Community Planning Month highlights the work done by planners in the town of Sahuarita over the last year in conducting extensive public outreach that ensures the public's hopes, values, and vision for our future are accurately reflected in the once a decade update to the town's long-range general plan. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of appointed Planning Commission members who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the town of Sahuarita. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by the professional community and regional planners of the town of Sahuarita, and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Tom Murphy, the mayor of the town of Sahuarita, on behalf of the town council, do hereby proclaim the month of October Community Planning Month, in testimony whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the town of Sahuarita on this 13th day of October, 2025. Thank you and congratulations. We can have a hand. No, an opportunity.
My staff isn't here tonight. It's not because I didn't offer them the opportunity to step into the spotlight, but it's because my staff prefers to do their work quietly. They are a little shy and don't really like being in the spotlight. And I think that's emblematic of who planners are in general. They're people who want to make a difference, who don't care about who gets the credit for a job well done. All of us in our department have come to our profession through a diversity of professional and educational paths, but we all share that in common, that we are committed to making a difference in our community. And I would be lax not to acknowledge that this is doubly true for the citizen planners who serve on our boards and commissions. They are volunteers, they don't get paid. We did pay them once with a chicken parm, but that's hardly reflective of the work they do for us. They dedicate their personal time, energy, and focus on advancing a shared vision for our community. I'm grateful for the planners in my life, my boss, my staff, the volunteers who give of themselves that shape our communities because they know that our communities in turn shape us. One final note, we are in the middle of a 60-day comment period on our once-a-decade general plan update, so please spread the word. Planners can only do what we do when citizens like you are engaged. Thank you.
He's a foodie, so if he did the chicken parm, I know it was good, so, but that depending. And next is November 1st as the Extra Mile Day. Declaring November 1st, 2025 as Extra Mile Day, encouraging our citizens to wholeheartedly commit to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community that go the extra mile, and their personal effort, volunteerism, and service. This was the second year that this was requested, and when I think of going the extra mile, I think of my colleagues, I think of staff, I think of our community that every day works to go the extra mile. So I just was proud and thankful that we could be named an Extra Mile Day city in town, in the country. Thank you. Next, we come to call to the public. The call to the public is now open. Individuals may speak for 3 minutes, spokespersons 10. The council cannot discuss matters not on the agenda. However, at the end of the call to the public, council members may respond to criticism, request staff to review the issue, or add the topic to a future agenda. And I have one, Rick Corrado. Oh, if you have another one, just submit it to Mark, the call to the public card. Yeah, come on. Good evening.
Honorable Mayor Murphy, Rick Corrado, distinguished members of the town council, town staff. I'm a guy that always seems to have a wealth of questions, and I drive my wife crazy. I thought I could come and share some of that wealth with you this evening. So one question I ask myself is, why did I move to Sahuarita? Was it the clean air? Was it the plentiful abundance of water? Was it the beautiful topography that surrounds us? Then I think, how often we forget. I wonder how often a court ruling regarding an inappropriate air quality application by the Copper World Mining Project to the ADEQ be suddenly declared valid. I think about how long does an aquifer last, draining 2 to 4 billion gallons of water from it per year without regulation or intent on reclamation or replacement. I ask myself, what is the impact of the ecosystem when we allow the landscape to be decimated by extensive digging, explosives, and corrosive acids to reclaim copper ore? I have to ask myself, how long does air quality remain acceptable for young and old, especially those with respiratory disease? I ask, how do we forget our history with the Vulcan Materials Research data? I ask about EPA data, which revealed 2-micron particulate matter that this mine will produce that travels approximately 100 miles. I ask about poisonous tailings being exposed to air by trucks traveling through our community that directly go past our children's schools. Or how about seepage into groundwater due to the lack of proper monitoring or containment? I wonder why the town changes garbage companies in part to reduce the amount of heavy trucks that traverse our roads, yet no one considers 80,000-pound trucks loaded with rocks, tailings, explosives, and caustic acids that will pass along Sahuarita Road through the middle of town to get to the freeway 24/7, 365. I have to assume that we forget our history. I have to assume that prior wish is just forgotten. I have to assume that the council will sit idly back and allow the Copper World Mining Project to proceed unabated. And most unfortunately, I have to assume that sometimes we forget our constituents and the people who we serve and protect in the name of progress, and I ask, progress for whom? This copper mine will compromise the safety and quality of life in this community, mark my words. It is your responsibility to come up with solutions for your jurisdiction. You need to get busy passing ordinances to restrict weight limit, restrict hours of passage, and insist upon appropriate monitoring of air, water, and land. You could be well advised to team up with the city of Tucson with regard to the massive water usage. They are vehemently against the amount of water that will be used. Doing nothing is to be complicit. And my final question this evening is to ask why. Why did I move to Sahuarita if this is a place where no one seems to remember and no one seems to care? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Suzette Rocher? Good evening.
Thank you. It's my first time speaking.
That's okay.
So I'm a
I should have
little-
mentioned the green light comes on, and that's when the 3 minutes starts. Oh, you don't have to touch anything. It's done for you.
Okay.
Then when the yellow
Then
light
it's off.
comes on, you have a minute, and then when the red light comes on,
I'm over.
You get parachuted out through the ceiling.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Suzette Rocher. I'm a resident of Sahuarita for 1 year, but, and also a artist in your hallway. And I really appreciate living here. I do have an issue that I would like you, the Samaritans, as the beginning of the meeting brought forth, is that you take in consideration that there are people. I live in a 55-plus community. I have no room, and I have no walls on the side of my unit, and I have no back wall to mine. I am completely open. In my community, I will be fined, and my landlord could be given a reason that I'm not a good tenant, and it's because of the recycling bin. I know it may seem like a small thing, but I have no room. Absolutely no room, and I would really appreciate if you could take in consideration, I'm not the only one. I'm just the only one here tonight that came here. But there are lots of us that have such small areas, And some have walls, which they can hide the recycling bin behind, and that would be great. And if I did, I wouldn't be here. I'd be at home with my cats. But I don't. And it will subject me to a lot of pain. And I mean, I could be kicked out of my place because it would give the landlord a reason that I'm not a good tenant, which I am I am a good tenant. I don't make any problems. I'm very quiet. I did hear the presentation many, many months ago when the change was going to happen, and I accepted it. I had that company, I had Waste Management for 9 years, never a problem. I may be the only one, but I never had an issue with them in 4 different places I lived. And then I had to give them up, and that was okay. I didn't have a recycling bin there. It's not that I don't want to recycle. I'm one person, and I don't, oops.
No, you're okay.
And I don't have a lot of garbage. And whatever I do recycle, but I do it on my own. And so I would just like the council to take that in consideration and to please help us, because we're in trouble. And I just really don't want to move, and I don't want to do anything that's not acceptable.
And if
So-
you have a minute, a little while, we actually have an update on that a little bit later in the agenda. So if you have
Oh,
it's not a very long meeting tonight, so
Okay.
if you can stick around for a little while.
I got my red
No, you're
light.
okay.
okay, well, thank you very
I
much
put the
for all your
parachutes
time. I
back.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I had no other speaker cards, so we'll move to brief council and town manager summary of current events.
Mr. Mayor, before this.
Yes.
Can we give her just in case she can't stay, can we get her the contact information to talk to somebody in the waste collection area?
Well, Nalo and Daniel are out there, so.
Wave your hand so she knows, those guys back there?
Already talked to
Okay.
them
Okay.
for months and months and months.
Okay.
Which is why I'm here.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
just wanted
you.
to make sure.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Appreciate it. Councilmember Lytle, any updates?
Oh, no, nothing right
No.
now.
Debbie? Kim?
Yes.
Yes? Please
I want
proceed.
to thank the police department. I went to National Night Out. I thought it was really great. I'm just disappointed there wasn't a bigger turnout. But it was really very, very good, and I'm glad I attended. I also attended with the mayor, and I know you're going to talk about this, is the Central Arizona Project Water User Stakeholder Meeting, and that was beautiful, where the setting was over at the Arizona Sedora Desert Museum. And that was very good and very informational. And then Councilmember Morales and I had our second our coffee with council. So we're planning another one. We're sort of changing locations. So we had a couple of people that showed up. We were at La Posada, so this time we're sort of aiming for Friday, November 21st at Rancho.
Okay.
So please, everyone's invited. You don't have to live in those areas,
No.
but we'd love to hear from you. And it's a great way to also talk to us and meet with us and ask us questions.
Great, thank you.
So thank you.
Diane?
So, Council Member Lytle, yourself, and myself, we were at the annual SAWA conference, and it was excellent. I know your voices are heard, and we are studying the water issue, and we are attending the conferences and asking the questions. And there is concern about our aquifer, and we are going to meetings and listening and asking and inquiring and being exposed to lots of wonderful presentations that, knowledge is power, and new information shapes new avenues of inquiry and also answers questions. So your voice is heard.
Thank you. Dr. Lesby?
On Friday, I was happy to attend the Santa Rita Fire District's pancake breakfast. It was great. There were tons of pancakes, and it was just a lot of fun. It's a great service that the fire district does for the community. So happy to attend. Very pleased to attend.
Thanks. Vice Mayor? Brush your teeth afterwards. Nothing.
Except that Washington DC is still alive.
Yes. Right, absolutely. And I hope you got your fill of pancakes, Dr. Gillespie, there. They always were abundant. Parking's always fun because there's so many people that want to attend, but that's always interesting. And just to reiterate, back-to-back CAP and then the SAWA presentations on water. Also attended the Sahuarita Rotary Murder Mystery Dinner, which was really well attended. So we raised probably a little, approaching $3,000. And the scouts served at it. So the monies are going to be used for supporting the scouts. Some's going to the Sahuarita Band, which is the only band in Arizona that will be represented at the 250th celebration in DC in July, as well as a kinder reading program that one of the members wrote a book, Grandpa Gardner, about planting a seed and having it germinate. So that was a really wonderful event as well. And fortunately, I wasn't able to attend the breakfast. I had to be somewhere else, and I wasn't able to attend the National Night Out, which I think was the first time I missed that one because I had to be somewhere else as well. But I'm glad we had nice representation by my colleagues at those events. And Shane, I know you're not on for the big presentation, but if there's anything that you'd like to touch on.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and members of the council. I think I will turn some time over to Beth. We have an introduction for you, and then I'll take just a few minutes by way of
Great,
some updates.
thanks. And actually, Lance is in a surprise because I got to sit with him before he was actually, Luke, sorry, at an event that I was able to attend with him.
Well, Mr. Mayor and Council, it might not be a surprise for you, but it's a surprise for Luke. That, we're introducing him to you tonight. He thought he was just going to attend quietly, but this is Luke Smith. He is our new management analyst, and you'll get to know him better. He'll be doing the legislative presentations to you on the monthly basis that you've kind of gotten used to. He'll also be working with our new legislative ambassador, and you'll probably be seeing him at more events as well.
Right.
So if you see Luke, he's with us. He's okay.
Now, the first requirement is you have to present for at least 30 minutes right now.
All right.
Right.
Princess Bride quotes.
Right.
Oh, I'll
Now, you don't have to speak that long, but
I'll have to rewatch the movie.
your time will come when you get to brief us and we'll get to ask questions.
Okay.
So welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Luke. Yeah, so quickly, I just wanted you as a council to know that your staff is continuing to have productive discussions with the zoo representatives to advance that by way of a pre-annexation development agreement. Drafts are going back and forth, and as long as the conversations continue, we see progress. So I'm pleased to make that report to you. We are targeting your December meeting to have that pre-annexation development agreement in front of you. So that's actually, it's going to be right around the corner for us. So
Right.
just stay tuned. We're excited about that. We're also continuing dialogues with ASARCO on annexations to the north. And so those conversations continue. Again, anytime you're at the table having conversation and dialogue, it's progress. Wanted just to remind you, we have your regularly scheduled council meeting on November 10th, but then we have a special a full day retreat on the strategic plan that's scheduled for November 24th. And that's an all-day retreat, and it's really geared up to help us as staff in the implementation process for priority-based budgeting. So again, mark your calendars, and if you can be there, really need your voices at the table to help us work through that strategic plan update.
Yep.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Appreciate it. As Shane mentioned, November 10th, Monday, is our next regularly scheduled meeting. We move to item number 8, which is our consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
I'll motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Clerk, item number 9A, please.
Discussion and possible action regarding wired telecommunication license and right-of-way use agreement with Ripple Fiber Arizona LLC.
Thank you. And not only did Ron do our invocation, he's also our chief technologist and will present this item and welcome representatives from Ripple Fiber Arizona LLC, who will be presenting in person and potentially virtually. But
Good evening,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Town Council members. Thank you for your time once again. With me is Noelle Dalala.
Yes.
She's the Director of Government Affairs for Ripple Fiber, and they are proposing to build here in the town and expand fiber services. So with that, I'll hand it off to Noelle.
And you came a long ways, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
A few of us got to meet you at the League of Cities and Towns. and
Yes.
Thank you for being
Happy
here.
to be here in front of you guys. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. For Ripple Fiber, we are a fiber internet service provider looking at a project here in the town of Sahuarita. We are America's brightest and fastest internet provider. That's why our color is so vibrant. We're here to make ripples and celebrate others who do the same. We're for connected communities, and we want to be part of the communities that we enter into and support you guys throughout the life of the project. We're here to stay, not like some of the other companies will come in and build out a construction project and leave town. We want to be here and part of the community for the long term. Some of the benefits of fiber, reliability being one, because it's made of glass, it's going to be less susceptible to environmental degradation and impact or outages from the elements. It has faster speeds, lightning fast to be exact. It actually travels at the speed of light. It's scalable as our technology on the back end advances, so we don't have to go back in and lay new fiber lines. We can just upgrade things on the back end. And then we also offer symmetrical speeds, unlike traditional cable as well. We call it future-proof because we have the capacity to grow with the demand as we're ever increasing in this digital age, and AI is only going to get bigger, and there's going to be more needs for increased data capacity. Fiber has that capability. Fiber also helps support smart homes, multiple connected devices in a home, telemedicine, remote work, distance learning, and streaming. It also studies have shown that it can help increase home values, and here's some additional economic benefits that studies have showed. So in addition to increasing home values, it also has been shown to, is that, okay.
We'll get rid of it.
It's been shown to increase average income as well by $1,450 in 1 year, and also creates new jobs in the community as well. These are some of the packages that we offer. So we have a half gig for $65 a month. We have a 1 and 2 gig for $85 and $95 a month. And those 1 and 2 gigs, we offer price for life. So that's not going to increase on you annually, like some cable providers. You'll see that with them. You'll get an introductory rate, and then they'll hike the prices with us. You get price for life with no hidden fees, and this includes connection and installation as well.
How were you able, just with inflation and things like that, how were you able to lock in something, a price for life?
We've just built it into our business model, so that's something that's important to our founders. And to kind of circle back a little bit to our founders, they are from overseas. So they're from South Africa. They have extensive experience building out fiber networks overseas. And then it was during the COVID pandemic that they looked to the US and saw that we were still behind compared to a lot of other countries, even in our needs for fiber and the access. So
Well, we learned that during COVID, would learn from home,
Yes.
work from home.
Absolutely.
We always talk about water, sewer and roads, but now
Yeah, and you'd have multiple
Connectivity.
people, somebody be working from home, somebody's doing remote learning, somebody's streaming or gaming, and we really saw kind of the bottleneck of some of the existing technologies. So that's when they decided to move to the U.S., started up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we've been growing ever since. So now we're very excited to be coming to Sahuarita as well. We have, a history of happy customers. Part of the reason of that for that is because of our community engagement and our commitment to the communities that we go into. So we really want to invest in the community, be part of the community, and work with you guys on, sponsoring events and community outreach, and join the chamber. We've already been working with the Chamber of Commerce here, and just like we were at the state of the town, yes. So that's something that's very important to Ripple Fiber.
Thanks.
HOA engagement is also something that's important to us. We have a team of community developers and community liaisons that will work closely with the HOAs and do events, and we'll bring out coffee trucks and Kona ice trucks and have the opportunity for that Q&A. A high-level overview of our construction project. So once we kind of get through the engineering and permitting phase, then we'll start calling in locates. Our teams will call and locate. So they're going to go out and mark the ground of areas that are coming up on construction. Then our teams will go out and start building, and then we'll have a restoration team that comes in behind them to restore the area. And then followed by that is customer installation. Here's an example of what that kind of looks like. There'll be little access points about every other home or so that when customers call, the technician just comes out and they can connect each customer.
Would that be using micro-trenching along the roadways, or do you use a different technology?
So what we've designed for Sahuarita is boring primarily, so no, we would not be utilizing micro-trenching.
Okay.
There might be some aerial deployment areas as well, which we would overlash on the existing cable.
Within a residential road, how would boring look? Is it with a sidewalk, or with a curb, with the road
So it'd be
itself?
it would be in the softscape, so in
okay.
the in the right of way. So in that first few feet of right of way, we would be boring in that softscape.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's usually where there's no irrigation because you have road, curb,
Yes.
buffer, sidewalk.
Yes.
And then you hit the residential irrigation and such, right?
Yes, so if, in that event, we also, something that we offer, and it's on one of the next slides, but we offer black flags for residents so that they can mark any type of irrigation lines, any electrical fences that may be in the right-of-way. They can go ahead and mark those so our crews can be mindful, but we do have a dedicated team to, we call them the green team, and I think, on the next slide, they are our dedicated team of landscape professionals, and they will make sure that everyone's right-of-way or their yard has been restored to as good a condition as we found it or better. So whether that be, matching sod or plants or restoring it. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So we have this team that comes in behind. That's something that I think we do differently than some other companies. For residents, if they have any questions or concerns, we have a pretty advanced online ticketing system, and those queries can be directed to us, and they'll be turned around to our local team to respond. Here's an example of some of the types of communications that go out. So pre-construction, we want to make sure that residents are adequately notified of what we're doing in the area. So we will send out letters to the homes, and we'll follow that up with postcard mailers, and then we'll have a team a couple days ahead of construction go out and place door hangers on people's doors so that if they have any questions or concerns, they can direct that to us. Obviously, you guys all have our information as well, so if anything bubbles up to the administration, you know how to contact us, but it's our goal to minimize that as much as possible by making sure that residents have been adequately notified on the front end. We also will work with, sponsoring various community events and HOA events to make sure that the word gets out about who we are and what we're doing in the neighborhood as well. Then our crews will have construction cards that they can hand to residents if they have any questions and direct them to our local team. And then once we have construction completed, then our marketing and sales team will sort of start their efforts, their kickoff efforts for that. And that'll be postcards, additional events, and then meta ads as well. Here's kind of an overview of our footprint, Ripple Fiber, in the U.S. So we have Arizona on there.
What's the difference between the yellow and the blue, light blue and dark blue?
Great question. So recently, we were excited to announce that we merged with our sister company, Hyperfiber. Mm-hmm. So the blue areas are the states that are still currently operating under the Hyperfiber brand, even though we have merged as one company under Ripple Fiber.
The dark blue is where you merged, or
the light blue?
Light blue. Okay.
The light blue. So the dark blue are not states that we've built in. Yeah.
Gone into, yeah. Okay.
So, and then everything green is Ripple Fiber brand. And eventually those blue states will transition to the Ripple Fiber brand. Right. But yeah, for now they're still Hyper. And that is all I had. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks. Timeline, well, a couple questions. One's timeline, and then also how do you determine, I'm assuming master plan communities would probably be first or sort of top of list because that's a lot of penetration, and then you have the rural areas. So when do you think construction will be starting, maybe about when it'll be finished? And then how do you determine, because you can't do the whole town all at once, but how do you determine where you start and kind of cascade down? No,
Yes.
that was not the
We'll
question.
take I'll
No,
bring
that
that
would cut
to our
me about in
engineering team.
50%, and half, but it's not about me. They were asking.
Yeah, so a lot of that depends on our engineering team. So once we have our agreement approved,
Right.
then we would start permitting. And so once those permits have been approved, then we'd start scheduling construction. And we usually kind of work in sectors of the city at one time, so not all over the city or the town at once. So we'd be in one area, and then we kind of move on to the next, and we'd notify folks as we go. And we'd love to, partner with the town if there's any additional means of notification, whether it's e-newsletters or other avenues you guys might have available, just anything we can do to get the word out about where we're going to be at next.
Yeah.
But yes, to your point about the HOAs, we have a separate division that works with making sure we've gotten all of our right of entry agreements with the HOAs, and then anything that's in town-owned right-of-way, we'd be working with the town to permit those areas.
Right, and when you merged, was it a combination of some people from Hyper and then some from Ripple? Because, obviously there's duplication in a lot of these positions. How did that go so far for you?
Yeah, so it's been going well. Ripple Fiber pretty much absorbed Hyper Fiber, and I think our initial introduction into Arizona was under the Hyper Fiber brand, but we've since transitioned that over to Ripple. So we've merged team members, and so we're looking forward though to working with you guys as Ripple Fiber going forward.
Right.
And then as far as timeline, and you brought that up as well. Our typical timeline for construction is about 2 years. So once we start construction to when we're done, that's our ideal kind of our rollout. Obviously, that can change just based on different factors, but yeah.
But as you construct, can those communities be brought online and utilize it, or do you have to have the whole town taken care of
Yes,
before you
no,
have
that's a
customers?
great question. So no, we do not have to have a complete town built out before we can connect customers. Part of something that our engineers do is they engineer it so that we can connect as you go. So as
Right.
we're building out, those customers are getting connected. We don't want them to have to wait until
Well,
we
it also
build
helps
out. Yeah.
financially. You don't want to put
Absolutely.
wait 2 years and make nothing off
Yeah.
of it.
Well,
right?
and it's,
So-
it kind of helps. Construction can be a little bit disruptive on the front end, but it helps when you're getting faster service,
Right.
available quickly. So,
Right.
yeah.
Thanks. Questions to my left? Anybody have questions?
Yes, will you be covering the entire town?
So I think, we're covering a very large portion of the town. I know there's some other fiber companies that, are maybe working with you guys as well. It's not in Ripple's business model to overbuild anybody else. So we don't want to be coming in behind somebody else who's just dug up someone's yard. So we'll usually pivot and kind of, try to, they bob, we weave.
So the fastest ones get the worm, so to speak, right? Instead of the early bird, the faster digger.
It's, yeah.
Do you have a good relationship working with the other companies as far as coordination, where they're going and you're going?
Yeah, so our team is very well versed in all the markets that we're in, as far as being very aware and coordinating as far as where other competitors are. And we have people doing write-outs. We have them constantly monitoring kind of the existing landscape. So we don't want to be too disruptive to the community and come right behind somebody who's their yard's just been restored, and now here's another person coming. So that's something that we as Ripple Fiber, we don't intend to do.
Okay, thanks. Any questions to Ed?
Yes. There's a lot of talk between fiber and copper. Can you explain the differences in the speed, for instance, and in the maintenance? Say, copper breaks, it splits and has to get spliced. It may take 3 or 4 days at times, depending on the size of the cable. How would the fiber, since it is glass and light, how would that compare?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, very technical question. But as best as I can answer that question, so we can install the fiber very quickly. It's, once the conduit's in the ground, our technician's able to blow the fiber through there, and it happens all very, very quickly. It's not a, several days delay. So once that boring has taken place, our crews are coming in and out very quickly into the neighborhood. So it's going to minimize disruption. As far as the speeds, yes, fiber has the capacity. It's like I said, we have 2 gigs, but we have the capacity to go way beyond that, just as technology advances on the back end, which cable is definitely.
Ron, did you want to touch on upload and download and how those differ?
Councilman Lytle, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but copper's been around forever and a day. Yeah, and it's not nearly as fast as fiber, if I remember correctly.
About 18 and a half to 1.
It could be, yeah. It's copper. I'm going to say 3 gigs, and that's not even per second, and that's probably not even right. Whereas, and fiber is just can go light speed comparatively, And so you got Actually, I won't drone on and on.
Oh no!
Because I could.
It's sort of like the Autobahn against a rural road, probably, right?
And it's they're both very reliable, and copper's been around for a reason. But fiber is the way to go for high transmission.
And there is a bottleneck too. So if you've ever noticed with cable, maybe there's certain times where your internet is slower than others. It's because there's more people on the network.
Right.
With fiber, you have a dedicated line to your home, and so you're not gonna get the same delay. Yeah.
Nice.
Any other
Thank you.
questions? Any other questions? We'll get you addresses, right?
Yes, I'll collect them and make sure they're on our.
For the public, I'm teasing. They'll go where they need to go and when they want to go there. I'll entertain a motion at this time, if anybody.
Mayor?
Yes.
I move to approve the wired telecommunications license and right-of-way use agreement with Ripple Fiber.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Welcome and congratulations. Thanks for
you.
being at the State of the Town. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Happy to be here.
Mr. Clerk, item 9B, please.
Solid waste program rollout update.
Thank you. Daniel Logan, our Deputy Public Works Director, will present this item, and he's probably sick of me texting him and emailing him all hours of the day. I saw a green can out there. So he's been very...
Not today.
Not today.
Not
That's
today.
because you're doing such a great job. Welcome.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, TMO. Tonight, I would like to say I'd be before you with a new subject, but I am not. I think we're going on our 8th, 9th? I've lost count. As long as I've been here. But tonight I am very, very happy to share with you how far we've come. Since my first day here, January 27th, the day that you voted this ordinance into town policy, I've been at work on this thing, had an amazing team working with me. I asked that I could come before you tonight to share with you what we accomplished in the last 8-9 months. So first, like I said, 2 very important things happened in my life on January 27th. This was voted into policy, right? The ordinance was put into policy for a solid waste sole source provider, and that was my first day at work here. The community outreach, we began the very next day, right? I think it was 11 o'clock at night when you guys voted this thing in and said, okay, go forth and figure this thing out. So we got some direction from you guys that was outreach, outreach, outreach. Let our community know what's going on. Bring them with you. We had the cart delivery, cart removals, and then, of course, the start of services all set forth for September 1st. So one thing we wanted to do is increase the awareness of the new program and the benefits. It was a robust community communication plan. That started, like I said, right after we walked out after that vote. Haley went to work. I met Haley, and then we went to work. If anybody has not seen this, turn off the auto pay. If you haven't seen this in the town of Sahuarita by now, I'm not doing my job. I believe that everybody has seen this at least one time We went to work at the newspaper, we visited the HOAs, we did personal appearances, shook hands, we did the radio, we did the internet, we did our website, we did the HOA websites. We did everything we possibly could. I had neighbors talking to neighbors, we're doing phone calls. I'm not even sure at this point how many residents I've met or talked to, but we've been trying to get out there as much as possible. Digital methods, like I said, the FAQs were built, the Facebook, Haley just on top of responding back to residents as fast as we could. It wasn't nearly fast enough for the residents, and we understand that. There was only a few of us, but we were doing the best we could to get back to everybody, and I think overall we got the message out to our public. So there was some clear steps that we wanted to develop in this communication plan. You know, Haley said you have 3 instructions per postcard. We're going to send out 3 postcards. Go through them, tell them what you need them to hear, and of course, to turn off the auto pay just became our mantra for this thing. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Turn off that auto pay. You know, cancel your current service became the next step, and then return the carts is what our goal was set out to be. In the middle of all of this, I've never experienced this before, and I don't think anybody has, but council and you were able to pivot as residents were speaking, which I took to heart, and I thought that was amazing. That's just from me to you. The support that we received, the team received saying, hey, yep, we get it. You guys are working on this massive thing. We're going to support you. The TMO's office was absolutely fantastic. Door always open. Letting me know what's going on. The mayor telling me constantly there's carts out there, you know, where they were. We're headhunting these things. But really, I wanted to take a minute just to share with you guys the shared bin agreements, the reduced cart sizes, the provision for the large properties that you guys had made, and even to consider that. Never seen it anywhere, and I think it merits being said out loud publicly, that no council anywhere has ever made these concessions before. They've never even considered it. To me, I found that to be amazing and was just reinforcement that I'm doing the right thing with the right people. So thank you very much for your support in that. As we work through this, you'll see, and as you heard in the call to the public, there's still some things to work on. And this is what I've been communicating with the public, but I'll get into that a little bit later when we wrap this thing up. I'm trying to make it as quick as possible.
We have till 11, that's okay.
I'm not taking till 11. I was amazed you moved through the agenda this quick. Yeah, so August 11th to the 29th. These were the dates that I was absolutely terrified of all year long. Not looking forward to, but at the same time, looking very forward to. Our goals were to deliver one trash cart, one recycle cart to every home in the town of Sahuarita. Huge undertaking. This normally on this scale would have been a 3-month exercise. We were able to complete this in 3 weeks. Yeah, it was I had to call in and circle the wagons on this one. When we first looked at it, we did a Pima County parcel search, and we looked at every residential parcel. We didn't have a database here. We had to build that as we went through this process. What an undertaking. So what we saw was 15,716 homes, or parcels rather. We didn't know if those were commercial. We didn't know if there was a foundation on them. We didn't know if there was a mailbox. We didn't know anything about them. We just knew that there was 15,716 parcels within the town of Sahuarita, and then we had to figure that out. Well, we come to find out after we did our estimates and everything else, we ordered our carts, picked the carts. The carts are beautiful, by the way, I love them. There was actually 12,392 occupied homes within the town, and that left us with 24,784 carts delivered, and that's what we did. Currently, there is I picked up 2 yesterday, right? So the 2 carts. So 24,782 carts are out there in the town currently today as we sit here. But our estimates were very close and very on. The team was amazing. We were estimating at first with the 15,000 homes. We knew that we were wrong. We knew that there was some development, did some estimates, did some judgments, so we don't want to go over 30,000 carts. We ended up with just about 26,000 carts that we actually ordered and are on ground total. So we did hit our little buffer there. We do have carts in the 65s that are available for those residents that wanted them. So we were able to, I don't know, grace of God, brought it down and helped guide us, making every decision right, and some luck and some power behind us. So pretty happy about that. Cart removals. As we know, we're still, I put the September 30th as the date that this is done, but that's not true. We know that cart removals, onesies and twosies, are going to happen over the next year. We still have residents that have them up next to the house. Maybe they're away. We're still collecting those. But I can tell you, with our full-time employee, with Hector on board, since he's come on board, the second half of his first day with us, he had taken out about 24 carts that day. He has been working for the last few weeks. Today it was 2.5. Oh, well, there's Hector right there. That was his second day, I believe, at work. Those were the carts that he got just that morning. So he's been amazing. So one thing that we didn't know is we were told by Waste Management, Republic Services, Waste Connections, we have X amount of customers in town, so we estimated about 13,000 carts. Our numbers, if you remember the discussions, were about 12,000, just north of 12,000. So we said we'll build a buffer and we'll be plenty good. We estimated 13,000. Well, we found that there was actually 18,000 plus carts in town. So it was a much bigger job than what we had estimated. Luckily, things still worked out. We had no idea that we had 18,000 carts out there. Our partners, you know, I asked them to stay for 2 extra days, go back through the town and collect them up. They did a huge effort there. We had some hiccups with past providers as they were exiting. They had missed some routes maybe, or overlooked some things, or whatever. For whatever reason, we had a lot of carts still out there. I estimated about 200 carts that were still full of trash sitting out in front of residents' homes. So we had to go to work on that one. We came up with a couple options, and then we're working through them. I asked for patience. I asked for patience of you. I asked for patience of Shane. I asked the patience from the residents, and you gave me that grace and that patience, and I appreciate that. Because of that, we were able to work through that. We then started taking away loaded carts, which, if you look at Hector, that's the trailer we were using, and you can't stack loaded carts. We were taking them out of there probably half a dozen at a time. But we got through it, and so the majority of those are gone. And I estimate right now, from what we've seen, we drive through the neighborhoods daily, even on the weekends, we take a look, and I would estimate that there's a couple dozen left. So for us to have pulled out that many carts in the short amount of time, like I said, removal of carts, we know it could be a year before we're done seeing all the blue carts, but we're not seeing them anywhere near what they were, right, a month ago. So fantastic effort, huge amount of energy expended on that. We're in a great place. We're in a great place. Everybody is pretty impressed. They couldn't believe that we could pull that many carts out that quickly without something like Waste Management coming in and doing it. And I'll just throw this little caveat. Council agreed to let me do this for the residents. I do not know of that ever happening before anywhere. Just so you know, that was one other thing that's never existed before. Nobody would even consider it before. They'd say it's your problem, not our problem. Go forth and do whatever it is that you're going to do. You guys didn't do that, so thank you for that. Oh, yeah. So,
I'm physically not driving that truck. Just
no, you are not. So September 1st, the day that we were all dreading and looking forward to for months and months and months. The goal here was to service all of the town of Sahuarita residents with one trash can and one recycle cart once a week on that same day, consolidated. We thought, well, the big problem here is going to be switching days. It's going to be letting them know. It's going to be getting them on the program, that you now don't go on a Tuesday and a Thursday, you now go on a Monday, or, you did go on a Monday and now you're on Thursday. Huge undertaking. We usually see something in the, 25% missed pickups on, your first service week because people don't get that message. That did not happen here. Our first day was a holiday, and we still had probably maybe a dozen calls for missed pickup because they didn't realize that the holiday we were still servicing. I accept that all day long. We were set up for that. We had most carts were serviced still that same day. They were out there late that day. If not, they were picked up the next day. We got through that very quickly. All of this, again, due to Haley getting that community word out and getting that out. Hey, we are servicing on the first. We're servicing it. Here's your zone. Here's this. GIS building, Christine, building has everybody seen the service? What's your service day? The GIS live map. Type in your address. It comes up. You can click on the little dot. It was one of the things I threw a fit about. I was like, I want to be able to select the dot and have your address and your service day. And they pulled it off. They gave it to us. So it's a wonderful map. I've seen close to them. I've never seen a product that good. So job well done on that. Just a little bit about Waste Connections for what they pulled off. So in the contract, we agreed to average age of the solid waste truck being no more than the average age of their whole fleet being no more than 7 years old. We know the life of a truck. It starts to leak. It starts to, fall apart. It starts squishing stuff out. It's disgusting. They look disgusting. They stink. So here's what Waste Connections did. They bought 4 brand new trucks, and they had 2 trucks that were already brand new. And they said, all 6 of these trucks are going to Sahuarita, and they're going to be dedicated trucks to Sahuarita. They are currently servicing us with 8 trucks. They decided that 6 wasn't enough. They upped that to 8. And what I did was some actual real research because I wanted to know what the age was. I knew those 4 new trucks were going to throw off the curve, but I wanted to know exactly. The oldest truck that we got was 6 months old. That means our fleet is younger than 1 year old. Our average age is about 4.5 months, which is why I put under 1 year. I wanted to verify that. They told me that. I've seen the trucks, but I wanted to make sure. But I thought that merited being said out loud. They've exceeded our expectations thus far, and I'm really happy that we picked them as a partner. So, next step. No contact list is where we're at today, and I wanted to share this with you. The no contact list, as you can read there, is approximately 1,600 homes. 1,600 homes that we don't have contact with, meaning they haven't reached out to us, haven't set up an account. Now, before anybody panics, let me just let you know that on a scale in a program this size, we were anticipating to be at about 4,000 homes right now. At 1,600, we're still doing great. That means our community is involved and we are reaching them. These last 1,600 homes could be anything from they're vacant, they're seasonal, they're unaware for somehow. I don't know how you could be unaware, but it's possible, I guess. It's been months since I had a phone call that said I wasn't aware of this going on, honestly. Or they might in some way be unreachable. So that's what we're figuring out now. The call to them, if they can hear my voice or if they're watching this or anything else or know anybody or your neighbor is not responding, they just need to register that account of Waste Connections, and then we can figure out what their account status needs to be, whether it needs to be a hold, whether it needs to be a vacancy, whatever it needs to be, we will work through that. So that's my ask of the community at this point. What are we going to do about that? Here's our next steps, and I wanted to take just a minute to hover over this for a little bit. We're focusing the communication to those 1,600 homes. There's kind of a two-step method on this. There is now that we're a month, 2 months into service, month and a half technically, we'll be at 2 months by the time we're actually doing this active outreach, I was asked recently, do we want to send a mailer out to them and tell them, hey, you know what, you've had the service, you've had the carts, now we're going to, look at fees and fines? Absolutely not. That's not our intent. That's not your intent. That's not my direction. I think the first thing that we do, and my recommendation at this point, is to go out and actually do the door hangers. So we kept away from the door hangers, as we discussed a year ago, because there was a sensitivity to what if people are out of town. We didn't want to, do that. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go out on those service days. I have this master list of these homes that we don't have contact with today. We're going to go out on their service days, and if we see the carts out, we know they're home. We know, they just need some help communicating with us. So we're going to hang on the carts. Hey, give us a call. If we don't see the carts out and they're not being serviced, then they're probably unreachable, vacant homes, something like that. We knock on the door and we try to track down. That's going to take, a little bit more investigation. Then after we do that, then we'll send out a mailer again. But I think we've mailed out to these homes at least 3, 4. I believe we're on our 5th one right now that just probably went out about 2 weeks ago. So I think that was the 5th mailer. So I think mailers at this point for these 1,600 aren't going to work. So this is where we wanted to be, where we're actually walking through the neighborhoods, knocking on doors and talking to the residents and trying to find some resolution there. Okay. So I just wanted to hover over that one and kind of pinpoint before just putting up no contact lists and not giving you any reference to that. Next stuff that we're working on here, and I'm hearing you guys, I'm hearing the residents, and here's some of the concerns, here's some of the thoughts, the ideas that they're asking me about right now, which is development and amendment of the solid waste policy. There's a couple things. I think there's a couple members up on the board. If all of you don't know, then we'll probably have more talks about that. I have some ideas. A lot to Suzette's question. We have spoke on the phone. I've talked to her, so I understand her concern with the recycle carts. I think that's a good conversation. I think we're early into that conversation, but we can have it. I'm ready to have that conversation with you guys, with the TMO. We'll talk about that. I think I have some good options. I know what direction I know what I want to recommend. Ultimately, it'll be up to you. The Recycle Program outreach and education, of course, has always been partnered with what we're doing. We want to get max participation. We want to get diversion so that in 7 years when we go back, or 6 years when we go back and renegotiate this contract, we still get good rates. Getting that, we should be getting reports from last month to see how we did in the first month. Tonnage reports for our recycle, what kind of commodities are they bringing out of here, how much contamination, that kind of thing. Haven't seen those reports yet, but when I do, they will get to you guys as quickly as possible.
Daniel, to
yes,
that
sir.
point, part of the reason that we wanted to have the recycle combo was because from filling up the cells, the landfill cells, the more we can recycle, the longer we can keep those cells from filling up, right? Which is there's a big cost for
Absolutely.
getting new cells and new landfill on board.
Yeah.
Can you just touch on the reason that is so important, even if you don't recycle a lot, to have any recycling part of that?
Love to. Watch the time, Shane. Okay. This is one I
would be throwing things at me, not at you.
Yeah, no. I would go on and on and on into every detail.
This is his passion.
Yes. So I got to take a breath. So it's all about diversion. I'll make it as clear, high level as I can. It's about keeping stuff out of the landfill, just like what you said. Landfill is built on the premise of they're selling airspace. we're buying that airspace. We're buying it at a cost. And it's, our stuff is going in there and it's sitting there for 100 years to be broken down. Anything that we don't put in there, we're not having to pay them for that. Now, there's an option for those commodities, your 1s and 2s plastics, 5s and 7s we're still working on, but 1s and 2s plastics, highly desirable, your tins, your aluminum, paper, cardboard, those things don't take up a lot of, they're not very dense, but they do take up a lot of space. They do have some mass to them. So keeping them out of the landfill and getting those commodities back into the commercial stream or product stream, there might be some return on that. It's not going to be enough to pay for the program, but if you think about it in kind of a two-prong, we're not paying for them to go to the landfill and die and degrade, and we're getting a little bit of a return back on them on top of that, even if it's minuscule amount. Plus, they're not taking up that airspace. So we're not paying for them here. We are getting a little bit back here. It's all about diversion. We want them to go this way and not this way, because this way is a one-stop, right? If we can...
Dan, just real quick, bottom line is that if we're able to extend the life of a landfill, right, we're able to have better control over the cost of doing service, which ultimately translates to the pocketbook of our residents. Right. And so, if we can divert stuff from the landfill to the recycling, the MRF, then we're in a better position to obviously be better stewards of our environment, but hold the cost down of providing solid waste service to the community.
That's why I wanted to pause on that, but thank you.
Thank you.
The cost of creating a new landfill is,
astronomical. So much so that the last landfill that we were doing, we were excavating a cell, and they actually decided to cut the project in half. We were talking a $22 million project. It's quite the undertaking. So we want to take care of our landfills, and we want to keep our stuff out of there as much as possible. Divert. Thank you, Shane. I would have kept going. So did that answer your question, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor? Okay. Cool. Then the household hazardous waste program. So I did get some good news today I'll wait till the next one. So the household hazardous waste, your oils, your batteries, your some e-waste, your TVs, that kind of thing that's coming out of the home, your cleaners, your paints, your solvents, your adhesives, all of that needs to go somewhere too. And we don't want it to go to landfill, because if it's going to the landfill, there's a possibility for that to be leaking into our water table. So a lot of people overlook that. Everything goes in the trash. Well, not everything goes in the trash. There is some things that we don't want in there. So we don't currently have a program for that. We do have a collection that happens once a year. I'm getting to know that program. Trying to see what that turns into, and what other things that are viable for us to add to our program to make it broader and take care of these issues that people have, these concerns, like cooking oil. Cooking oil is a big one. You don't want it going down your drain. We don't want it at the landfill. We don't want it in the trucks. What do we do with it? It's a great question. So I got to figure those out. So that's the kind of things that we're looking into to broaden what our program is. And, starting with the trash and the recycle, this is where we start. And then we just keep adding tiers to it. And trying to keep those costs down, adding those services and getting good value for what we're doing. The possibility of a glass program. And the reason why I put it on there as a possibility is because I don't know if it's viable or not yet. Like, I've asked for patience. We're going to go through this. We're going to look at this thing. There's some things that have to be in the right order. I can tell you this is the news I got today that I was excited about, is this is disclosed from a resident. There's spies everywhere, and it's absolutely wonderful. Reached out to Waste Management, got confirmation from them that the transfer station here on La Cañada, I don't know if you're aware of this, they have direction from Waste Management, who is currently under contract with Pima County running this transfer station. They cannot turn away glass collection. I was not aware of that until about an hour ago. When I read that email, I was elated. I have been trying to track it down and confirm. They would not tell me whether they do or they don't, and we're not sure. Got it confirmed today from Waste Management that they will not turn away glass collection at the La Cañada yard. This is great news for us.
That's my most asked question now is
For sure.
Why not glass?
Yeah, why not glass for our program?
Yeah. well, just
Absolutely.
why not glass recycle, period, but for our program is
Sure, sure. So glass, it doesn't work in a mixed stream system. Sorting it out, glass is at its base element, it's silica, and you'll have to keep me in check on this one too, because I'll go on for hours. But it's silica, it's dirt, it's sand, right? So glass goes in with the other recycled material, it breaks, and then it's contaminant. Now all of a sudden we have this in the machinery, we have people sorting this stuff out and getting cut, and it's dense, it's heavy, it's very inefficient. Every time we touch a commodity in the recycle stream, it adds a cost to it. We're just driving up the cost of trying to resell dirt to a manufacturer, a bottling company, and ship it to them. It's very inefficient to ship dirt. It's very expensive to ship dirt. So it becomes an offset. Can it work? It can work if we're willing to pay for it. One of the dynamics to a glass program is single stream. Whether that means we have communal pickups for them, we strategically station those around the town, and we make them, free. People go and put them there. Well, there's still a cost. We still have to pick it up. We have to have it hauled off. We have to have it taken somewhere. So that's why I'm asking for patience on that. If we ever get to that point as a town, I need to figure out where that commodity is going, and to get it to the right place. So does that answer your question, sir?
Is there any, I know cardboard at the food bank, that's an actual somewhat of a revenue generator. Is there any market for glass once it's collected and brought somewhere? Is it?
Yeah, market, yes. The dynamics, again, glass becomes tricky because you're selling dirt back to a bottle company, right? So that's what we're looking for. So the shortest haul, the most direct, the most efficient way we can haul it to that bottling company is where we want to be. So that's where it doesn't work so much with cardboard. Cardboard is far lighter. It's not as dense. Cardboard is much easier to break down. Glass has a higher return rate. You lose 1% in the processing, whereas cardboard is far less you get back, but it degrades and it becomes a cheap paper towel or whatever. But it's much cheaper to sort. It's much cheaper to transport. That way, it doesn't add that cost as quickly. So there's some dynamics working against us with glass, but that doesn't mean they're insurmountable. It just means we need to figure them out and do it the right way.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. And now we get to the questions and comments. I don't know if
maybe I can piggyback off of Suzette's question, because I know in some of the HOAs, if memory serves me correctly, there are some requirements that cans have to be shielded and things from the road.
Yes.
Have we had conversations? Can they make it with their CCNRs? Can they have that policy in place that overrides our policy that says, no, you have to have a recycle for the reasons that you touched on? Have we had those conversations with those HOAs, or talked to John about, if they have a CCNR policy and they don't, and the homeowner doesn't have a way, to shield it, because some have wing walls, others don't. If you could just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. No, we haven't had those conversations yet. I have not gotten to the point where I've approached HOAs, nor have HOAs approached me. It's not because I'm staying away. It's just that I'm hopeful that by the time we get to that point where we have to have a permanent solution, I think it becomes a moot point. My suggestion is a little different, but again, that merits a conversation. I've seen the validity to it. If you remember back in January, the consideration of, I'll relate this to like the 65-gallon carts. I said that's crazy. It's absolutely, why would you do that? It makes no sense. Then I went out to the community and I visited these homes with the smaller garages, the limited spaces. You know, given the demographics of our community and our residents, it made sense. And it made sense to undertake something that big. Why would you double your assets? Why would you track twice as many? Why would you do? Because there was a value there, and the value offset the cost and the time. I do believe that there is a value here too. I think there's an opportunity. Would love to discuss it, so I don't want to go too far ahead because I may, I don't want to be in the principal's
You wanna
office.
be invited back, right?
What's that?
No,
Yeah. So I haven't gotten that far yet because, to my knowledge, you know, one has come across me to my emails that is a warning to a resident from the HOA once, and that just happened. I believe it was on Saturday that a resident shared with me that they got a warning from a HOA. That was the first one. So we haven't crossed that bridge yet. So yes, the door is opened for those conversations. It is about time to have some conversations like that.
Thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Mayor and Council, can I
Yes, absolutely.
just to help frame this just a little bit? This is a great opportunity for the council. If you're hearing of unique situations out there that likely could result in policy discussion,
Right.
bring those things up, because it's good for us to know what you're hearing, what you're getting hit with out in the public. This is a new program for the town. We're partnered with a very experienced partner, so it's not like we don't know what we're doing. But our solution is going to be unique for our community. We have some goals in mind. You know, we want to divert trash from the landfill to keep costs down. That benefits everybody. In order to do that, we made a policy decision to require recycling. That makes sense. And you know, when you consider policies, it's difficult because you might have somebody who's actually very, very responsible, and when they say, hey, they're going to take their recycling to the recycling bin themselves, they're going to do that. If they say, listen, we don't need solid waste can because I just throw it in my trailer and I've been doing it for years and I'm responsible. I'm not out dumping in the desert, right? They're doing that. But your policy can't consider that because that person can leave that residence, can sell it, and then the new person come in, they're not responsible. So you have to think broadly as a council in terms of what these policies really mean. It can't be, there's the Dilly clause and this is the Logan clause, and this, you know, it just doesn't work that way. And so if you're getting hit with these unique situations, kind of these twisters, how do we manage this? Let's bring those issues up so that we can take note of it as staff, and then we can try to bring back some policy discussion and resolution, because this thing can morph. I mean, we're making these policies, and we can cater it to meet our needs as a community, I guess is what I'm saying. So this is a good opportunity for that.
Yeah, no, thanks, Shane, on that. And I literally just had my neighbor yesterday come over, and we were just talking about other things, and he's very, very pleased. You know, I had my
In the house I was going to buy?
No, the other
Okay.
side. And, you know, we had, well, minimum 6 trucks a week, because we had the 3 majors, you know, both days different for recycle and waste. Then we had new ones pop up occasionally, so I think the most I had in a week was 8 different trucks that came through our neighborhood, but definitely we always had 6. So, and combining them on the same day, people love that because it's one day and the rest of the days are quiet. Probably at this point, my most asked question is the glass, you know, because I grew up in New England and you had to put deposits down, you know, on glass, the Coca-Cola bottles and everything up to, I don't know, when I left, it was probably 15 cents each one.
3.
So that's,
It was
that
3.
says I'm so old, that's
Right.
right. And I was like, actually, that was the real dirt that we actually turned, into glass. So, you know, the glass is definitely one that probably is worth a continual conversation on how
Definitely.
we can mitigate that.
Yep.
I know I've usually gone at the new year to the, you know, the joint recycling effort that we have out here, and it's gallons and gallons of cooking oil and TVs and computers and all of that. So the, you know, hazard waste, not to get dumped as often as possible, so maybe it's more events, but those are the two biggies, is the hazardous waste, because people have, they move in, they buy 5 gallons of paint, they use 4 and 5-gallon jug left, those types of things. So I don't know if it's more of a conversation with the transfer station, to get a better understanding of what they can do for us, because when I've used it in the past, you have to drive in and then you weigh your car or truck full, right? And then you drive through and then they weigh it on the way out, and that's when they charge you the differential. It's been a long time. But if you're bringing over on a weekly basis, 3 pounds of glass, how do they take that and charge you for it when you're not driving it with your full car?
I don't know that they are. I still have, like I said, I just got that word today, and it did come on a letterhead from a director at Waste Management. So I believe it's factual. I have not seen it yet. But I'm going to go over there and check that out. I don't believe it's at cost, because this is through Pima County, and there is a responsibility there for household hazardous waste as well. I don't yet know. I know what the legality is and that they have to do that at least once a year. But I'm going to find out what they are offering over there. And it's been a little tough to get over there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know we had a policy on an acre lot or more, was it? Was it
2.5?
2.5.
Yeah, with the contingency of the commercial agreement.
And if you're at 1 3/4 and you're way down the road and they're not, so those are kind of one-offs that I've, heard about, but those are mostly the hazard waste and the glass. There's, most asked questions to kind of keep in mind as you're developing
Absolutely.
this policy.
Yeah, the glass, the household hazardous waste, those are the programs, if you will. The one-offs and tailor-making it to our residents with where they're located, how they're serviced, how their service works, and how it fits into this ordinance. That's the policy. That's the town policy that I'll be bringing back to you guys. That's what the, like I said, I don't want to bring it out too far and, throw something out at all of you. I don't know what my restrictions there are, but be talking to Shane about that and then having those conversations. And then you'll know well in advance when I'm bringing that to you and what I'm suggesting, and we'll have those conversations.
Yep, thanks.
To maximize time tonight, we won't be able to really talk about solutions as much.
Right.
But if you're hearing of unique, hey, what about this? I'm hearing this. That would be awesome to bring up so that we can kind of generate.
And, whatever you have or heard, please bring it up tonight. And then
Absolutely.
Also, obviously, everybody has Daniel's email address, so as things develop, please get them off to him. Councilmember Morales.
So I have 2. One of them was brought to my attention. Do we have dual trucks where they do recycle and trash?
No.
Because somebody mentioned that they saw the truck put recycle and trash in the same truck. So I did mention to them, these trucks
Okay.
have cameras.
They do.
Yes, so.
They do, and there's no split bodies. If you see the same truck picking up a trash and recycle cart, unless that, let's just say in the very hypothetical, because typically the recycle trucks follow the trash trucks, they come later. It's not always. They do crisscross over. In the instance where a recycle truck maybe came through, today I saw a trash can that was, open and it had styrofoam in it. That's contaminant. They're not going to dump that in a recycle truck. They might have deemed it, and I'm just saying hypothetically, I don't really know, but I'm just saying this is how I ran operations. If it was deemed as contaminated, I would have let the trash truck operator know if he's coming behind me. That could have happened. I'm not saying it did. But if you do see that, really all I need, and this goes out to residents at large, a video or a picture of the license plate of the truck. Tell me where they are and what you saw. I can easily find it. There's GPS on them. There's cameras. They all have 5 camera systems. They have a camera inside the hopper. We insisted upon that. So they can tell me at what address they are. I don't know if you guys have seen any of those pictures, but we can verify where the truck is, what truck it is, what time of day it was, and we can take a look inside the hopper to what came out of that cart.
They look the same though, right? A recycled
Identical.
truck, okay.
Yeah, that's the tough part, is they look identical.
Right.
Well, what you just said makes sense, because I drive by and I see things and I'm like, that's not
That's not
recyclable.
recyclable.
You
Yeah.
know?
My daughter
It
tells
is.
me every day, that's not recyclable. Don't
Right.
put in
It
there."
could be, I'm not saying that's what happened, but like, that's how I ran operations, and that's what makes sense. So, yeah, I
So
don't
my
know.
second thing I've already brought to your attention, I talked to Shane about it, a resident that lives in a 2.5 acre, that is being charged. Doesn't want the trash can. They own a business. They have a 40-foot dumpster in their business, and they take their trash there. It's a single person that lives by himself, and he says he's not home half of the time. So I know you're working on it. I
Yep.
brought it up to Shane today, so.
Yep, we're trying to work through, so, yeah, I'll just talk about it for 15 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds?
5,
I'm wasting my
4,
time.
3, 2,
So, yeah, no, when they reach out to me, and if they have an issue like that, we have not gone out to their property to harass them or anything. I've been working with this individual, this resident, since May. So we've been going back and forth trying to figure something out to tailor fit that property. It will take some time.
Any
But we'll
other
figure it out.
thoughts initially? You can always email them as well.
Yep.
No?
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a great
Mayor-
night.
Thank you.
Mayor-
Appreciate
Mayor
it.
and Council,
Yes.
Dan, I just wanted you to know, at
Oh,
the
it's on the side
awesome
here.
BYU versus U of A game Saturday night, I did notice in the Tucson area, Tucson had the 300-gallon containers.
Yeah, they do have them.
I'm just saying.
They do have them.
Okay, all right. I'm just
They
saying.
exist in the world. I know that they exist in the world.
You want a 300-gallon container?
No, but
No, it's
Oh.
something that we discussed. So in some of those outliers, is that okay? Okay. So in some of those properties, given the length of the driveways, they're private
Oh, I see.
roads, the waste trucks don't want to drive down them for damaging their private road. Then they damage the truck. So us dictating that they have to drive these, massive trucks down these private roads, it costs the residents, it costs our partner. Doesn't cost us anything, but we're forcing them to do it. So it's ethically, it's not really the right thing to do. So that's why we're working on some of these, properties that are
Policies.
outliers. And what was brought up was a possibility of this neighbor, and this neighbor throwing into a 300-gallon cart. That way they are still in compliance with the law, and they have that. Finding the 300-gallon carts is a little more tricky, especially in brown with Salrita on the side.
That's
So
right.
that's a requirement. They have to have that. But I am still looking.
We can come out and engrave it on the side.
I'll do what I have to do.
Cricket.
Yeah.
Right.
Purchase stock, finding them and getting them is proving to be a little trickier than I might have to go to.
Right. Thank you.
I won't
Appreciate
say
it.
We're being recorded.
Thanks. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your hard work and the teams. Next, Mr. Clerk, item number 10.
Public hearing and possible action regarding ordinance number 2025-188, Town Code Amendment, Chapter 1.05, Code Adoption, Authority and Penalty. Ordinance number 2025-189, Town Code Amendment, Chapter 8.10, Removal of Litter. And ordinance number 2025-190, Town Code Amendment, Chapter 8.25, Penalties.
Thanks. And I had Dylan is doing this, and I know you very well, and it's not Dylan that's stepping to the microphone. So Nathan,
Okay.
welcome, and please proceed.
Okay, so it
Oh, and
appears.
I'm sorry, for the council, this is we'll have a public hearing, so I'll have Nathan present, ask questions, open the public hearing, then we'll close it, and then go move from there. Thanks.
Okay.
Nathan?
So it's up to me to keep you here for the next 2.5 hours,
Absolutely.
I understand. Okay, so what this code amendment is it's a fairly light touch to both Title 8 and Title 1. Title 8 is the section of the town code that deals with how do we respond to the accumulation of trash, garbage, debris on property. How do we react to that? What kind of sanctions do we issue against those types of properties? Currently, there are 2 issues with Title 8 as written that we'd like to correct. And as I said, this is a fairly light, fairly subtle touch. So first off, there is some ambiguity in the code about whether or not we can choose to use either criminal or civil procedures, criminal or civil penalties. That's what I'm looking for. So the first light touch here is that we're making it very clear that the town can choose to go with criminal penalties or civil penalties, one or the other. We don't have to go both. And that's important because civil penalties are a lighter touch. They are things that can be issued by our civilian employees that we have here in the department. The second item is that the current code, if interpreted strictly, would require immediate compliance before we start the time clock and start assessing penalties. We wanted to give our code enforcement officers a little bit of flexibility, a leeway, that when they issue the citation, we can put a deadline. We can say you've got 30 days, you've got 60 days to comply, after which, then the penalties start accruing. So that's all this code amendment does. It does touch a number of different codes. It even touches a little bit in Title I, just to make sure that the code is consistent throughout. So with that, I can answer any questions.
So looking at it, is it the recommendation that we would start with civil and then go to criminal at some point?
We would reserve criminal for the more difficult or recalcitrant cases.
Right, and where it is today is?
Like I said, because of the ambiguity.
So it's
the
probably
the
open
law
for
department has been a little bit more hesitant to either involve themselves directly in criminal or even back us up on civil. Just because of
Right,
that
so
ambiguity.
we're looking to do a lighter touch, and hopefully that helps for the majority, and then reserve the higher penalties for the non-compliers. That
The goal here is compliance. The goal is not punishment.
Got it. Good description. Thank you.
I think I stole that from John.
And we will need.
Yeah, can you please weigh on that, Judge?
3 separate motions since there are 3 ordinances?
Yes. Oh, so do you want us to have him go through them all? And
No, he's
then-
already gone through the presentation as far as I can tell, right? Or have you?
I have no slides.
Oh, okay. All righty.
So I'm happy to answer any questions about them, but we worked on these pretty closely together over the last months. How many months? 4 or 5 months?
Right.
And so, as he said, it was pretty much cleanup and clarification. So
Yep.
if you're ready to vote, we'll just need a vote on each ordinance separately.
And Mayor, I just want to make a point that part of the housekeeping here is to clear up what current practice is. I mean, our
Right.
goal is compliance, not
penalization.
punishment or
Right.
penalty.
Right.
It's to bring people in compliance with these
And give
with
them
these codes.
the opportunity to do it.
Yeah,
without
so
touching on criminal.
starting at the lesser degree of
Right.
things and reserving the more strict for the heavier cases
Right.
is what we already practice or try to practice.
Right, but this kind of cleans it up to make it.
And remember that before we even get to citation, we do notices of violation.
Right.
We try and get compliance. So we don't even get to a civil citation unless we fail to get compliance with the notice of violation.
Right.
And then, again, if it's a.
Conversations and-
Right. So it is, even the civil citation is held until we can't get, compliance or cooperation.
Yep, thank you. Vice Mayor? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Any other questions before I open the public hearing? This time I'll open the public hearing. Anybody like to address us on this issue? Seeing no movement, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion. Vice Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-188.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-189.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam
You want me to
Vice
go?
Mayor.
Okay.
You're
Third
roll.
and final time. Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-190.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Having no more further business, we're adjourned. Thank you. That's what.